There are a few different ways to store and register your settings. If you've already built an options page and are migrating those options over to the customizer, you'll probably want to keep doing what you've been doing, which is register your settings with register setting. If you don't specify anything, your settings will be added with WordPress's theme mod features function. But for the purpose of this course, we'll be using the Settings API, which can be used for either theme or plugin options rather than the theme mod functionality. In this case, the first thing we need to do is register our settings. This is done with the register setting function. Register setting takes three parameters: the option group, or the place in the database to store the options, the option name, how the option will be identified in the code when you're getting the options, and an optional sanitization callback. We're going to leave off the last one for now because each of our options are going to be sanitized separately. For this theme, my option group will be AP Core Options, and my option name will be AP Core Theme Options. This gets hooked to the admin init action hook, so it fires when the WordPress admin is initialized. Now I have a place to store my settings, so let's create some settings. First, I need to create a function that pulls in the WP Customize object and hooks onto the Customize Register action. All customizations will be performed through methods of the WP Customize object. I'll start with something really simple. Remember, we talked before about an option that controls whether to display the site title or not. This can go nicely in the existing site title and tagline section. We start by using WP Customize and passing the add setting method. Now we'll pass information about the setting we're adding. First, I need to define where I'm saving the option. In our case, since we're using the Settings API, we'll use the option name and the specific setting that we'll be controlling, site title. The next parameter is an array of values that control the type of setting we're creating and allows us to pull in some default values, which I've already loaded into a defaults variable. For site title, I'm passing the default value for this setting, then I'm passing the minimum user capability required to edit this setting. The transport refers to how to handle this setting in the live preview window. The default is refresh, which will send a refresh request to the live previewer to display the preview of that setting. But you can also send a post message and handle live updates with JavaScript. For this setting, I don't care about the live preview, so I'm just going to say refresh. The type parameter determines how to save this option. If we left this parameter out, it would save the setting as a theme mod, but that's not what I want to do. I want to save it as an option. So I'm passing option to this parameter so it knows to store this in the theme options that I've registered. Whether you're using theme mods or get option, one way or the other, if you're using theme options already, you can just keep doing what you're doing in terms of grabbing those options and using them and just change the means by which you're allowing the user to save them. Now I've added a setting, but this doesn't actually do anything. Before the setting will display, it needs to have a control. Remember, the control is really just the markup used to display the option setting. So I'm going to add a control. This starts off the same as the setting, but we're using the add control method instead. We're still using the same theme options and setting values, so that stays the same. Add control takes an array of parameters that determine the type of control and how it will look and function. First, I can give it a label, then I define a section for the control to go in. I want this to go into the existing section that handles the site title and tagline, so I use the section title tagline. Other built-in sections are colors, header image, background image, nav, and static front page. Now I can pass where the setting is being saved and pass my option name, the type of control I want, in this case I want a select box, what available options there will be, which I've got over here in a function called APCore true/false, which gives a yes or no option, and what the sanitization callback is to validate the stored option. We'll get to validation later in this module. Now, if I go to my themes customizer, I can see a new option. And if I say no, don't display the title and tagline, the previewer refreshes and it's gone. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so what if I want to create my own section for controls? First, you need to add a section. I'm going to create a section called Layout Options. So I start with my WP Customize object, and this time use the add section method. This time, the first parameter is what my section name is going to be, and it can be whatever I want it to be. I'll call it APCore Layout. The second parameter of add section is an array of arguments for my new section. Add section can take up to 3 arguments. Title will be the title of the section. In this case, I want it to say Layout Options. Next, you can control the priority, which determines where it appears in the list of options in the customizer. Finally, you can pass an optional description for each section, which adds some descriptive text about that section. I'm just using 2, the title and the priority. Now I've got a section, but nothing in it. So let's add a new setting to put in my section. This one will be to control the side the sidebar is displayed on. Again, I'll use the add setting method and start defining my arguments. The defaults are coming from the defaults array again. The capability is still edit theme options, the transport will be refresh again, and the type is option. Now I've got the setting but no control, so I need to create a control. In the arguments here, I'll label it sidebar. It's going to use the new APCore layout section. The settings go in the same place, it's still a select box, and the choices will come from the APCore sidebar function, and the sanitization will be APCore validate sidebar. While both these settings are select boxes, other types are available. You can change the type of control to radio or checkbox to easily switch to those types of form inputs. The default type of control is just a text input, so you could add a small text input box. Finally, there's also a drop-down pages control, which, like it sounds, gives you a drop-down list of pages. More kinds of controls than that exist too, but these are handled differently and called with new classes. In the next video, I'll show you how to add new types of controls using one of these classes to add a color picker control, as well as how to create your own custom control for things that don't exist in Core.